The last few months for all of us have been tricky to say the least. And although they've changed the way we look at life, but they've also given us a chance to introspect. They've given us a chance to connect to our passions one more time. And as you might know, my passion is food. But today I'm going to do something different, something special. I'm just going to connect to a chef in Singapore and have a chat. Have a chat about our common passion, food. Well, it's time to call up Chef Bjorn from Singapore. Let's do this. Hey, Chef!
What is up, Chef? How are you?
Very good, very good. I love that hat. I love the hat.
Thank you very much. And hang on, where exactly are you now?
Chef, I'm in my sort of test kitchen. This is where I run away from home. When things get too much, especially in the lockdown, do a little bit of trials and then shoot. This is also my studio kitchen. And the test kitchen.
It does look very beautiful, like you've got the lighting all going for you, you've got the whole background going. This is my test kitchen, but it looks nowhere near yours. I just took over the space yesterday from my contractors. You guys are the first to see this.
Awesome. Right it looks fabulous, Chef. Looks fabulous.
So how's things going?
It's going well. How are things going with you? How are things going with Singapore? I mean, as a country that's really managed to ward off COVID. How are things going there?
I wouldn't really say ward off, but I think we're doing pretty good. I think we have the situation rather under control, if that's any reassurance. There's a lot of measures that have recently been, let up a little bit. There's been a bit of release on these things, and we've got more good news coming up on the horizon of maybe finally being able to travel. And I think most of us sitting back here at home, the one thing that we miss the most is going out, getting out there, traveling, sitting on a plane, on a boat, whatever.
I hear you. And knowing you, I mean, you are, for me, the other day when we spoke, I think it's beautiful how you've lived your life. You've lived your life traveling, You've lived your life Australia and the nomad chef, right? And for...
You're the first person to call me that.
It's exciting. And like I said, we all dream of, as chefs, we all dream of just packing our bags and saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to go to Australia. I don't like college. I'm going to go do my own cooking. Pack your bags, land up, start off. All of us dream of doing that. You've actually done that.
I think you might agree with me here, and I think this goes along with your background as well. I do feel like the way to make yourself a better chef is to actually collect life experiences. And from that knowledge bank, from that experience bank, that makes you who you are as a chef. Not where you worked, not how many years you slaved away in this place or that place. It's about your travels, it's about your life experiences, and that all comes together to formulate who you are as a chef and what's your personal style one day. I mean, you feel the same, right?
I agree, Chef. I think what I've realized is that the techniques that you learn, they get worn off pretty quick. What really stands out is the expression, and if you don't have anything inside, there's nothing to put outside. So you gotta keep traveling, keep filling up stuff inside to be able to express on a plate. So what does Chef Bjorn do when he's not cooking?
I like eating out alone. I like traveling alone and eating alone. I even like just eating alone when I'm in Singapore. There's something very peaceful about that, and there's a lot of places that you can do that. The food culture in India is so diverse. It is so colorful. I remember I was there 2 years ago, and everything that I ate just blew my mind. Every new meal that I ate got better and better than the last meal. Although I could not understand how that was happening, I envy you right now, man. You're living in a big country where you can travel around, within, you might not be able to leave the country, but you've got a lot of places to go.
I envy you, chef. I envy you, and I envy you for the reason that every time I am in Singapore, I feel there is so much and so many microcultures that are represented so densely and so beautifully in such a small space. It's like, you can taste the world, experience the world in the most beautiful manner, just walking through an area. You don't have to, hop onto flights. You can just take the metro, take the train, just go. And I think that's what I love. That's what I love about Singapore. It's a condensed amalgamation of so many microcultures that people are passionately trying to put forward.
I think you've summarized it very, very well. It's a pocket-sized fun pack of many things, right? And like you said, it's an amalgamation of so many microcultures all together, very harmonious. I don't think I could ever disagree with you on that. And thank you for making me feel very proud about where I come from. I want to know more about you. Everyone watching wants to know more about you as well. So tell us where you were born, where you grew up, what your early influences were.
So for me, I was born in a small city called Lucknow in the north of India. It's a city that has seen a lot of peace, and because of that, there's been a lot of time for culture to evolve. So with all modesty, it's one of the most culturally evolved cities in the country, and hence there's a lot of stress on food, And Lucknow is also a lot about storytelling. We say if you don't get one plate food, it's never enough unless you get a pot full of stories.
You've been to Singapore a few times. In fact, quite often, if I recall. Quite often. Yeah. There was a time that you were doing a project which made it such that you had to be in Singapore, once or twice a year or something like that?
5 times a year, chef.
5 times a year. You might know Singapore better than I do. Tell me about some of your experiences here in Singapore.
I think the beauty of traveling to Singapore is, I'm especially fascinated by the Tamil migration from the time they've migrated, because they've never gone back. And what you get to see of Tamil food in Singapore is actually food like it was, not like it is. So every time I come, I go to the various messes. There are these Tamil mess and I shared one link with you earlier. So there are these Tamil mess in Little India, where you actually get to get the most amazing fish curries and the most amazing chettinad food that you don't even get in India, because in India they've moved on, while in Singapore they've sort of stuck to their roots and frozen in time.
Is John a beer person or a wine person?
Can I be straight with you? I've actually got a very sweet tooth.
Yeah?
Very sweet tooth. So if you ask me if I'm a beer person or if I'm a wine person, I will tell you that I am a soda person.
Oh, awesome.
I am a fizzy pop kind of person. I would destroy that fridge when I get to the provision shop with all the sweet drinks in there. I, at one point in time, gave myself type 2 diabetes because of all the sugary drinks that I was drinking. I like wine enough, I like beer enough, but any day, give me a soda, any day I'll take it.
I have this thing in life, chef, that I will never cook something that I have not eaten, spoken about, and experienced. I don't cook. I will not cook it if I haven't eaten it if I haven't eaten it where it is supposed to be from, and if I haven't sat down there, eaten it, absorbed it, enjoyed it, etched it in my memory, it hasn't lit that fire in me, I'll never cook it. Even for my TV shows, a lot of times producers come to me and say, Ranveer, we want you to cook this. This is what people want. I was like, no, I can't, because that'll be cooking off a book, and I don't want to cook off a book anymore, because I will not connect to it and it won't show.
Oh, okay. Well, we are very different on that front. I love to cook a lot on random nonsense that I just dream up. I think that's my style. I'll just, try it out and we'll see if it works. So the restaurant scene is, again, so exciting, it's so diverse. I honestly think we have way too many restaurants in Singapore. We have more restaurants than we have the population to support. We need people to come through and eat at these restaurants. So that's why we need the tourism the barriers to lift again and have all these people come through and eat at these fantastic restaurants in Singapore. There's a lot of young chefs doing very interesting things with local flavors and local produce. Speaking of which, I was just at a fish farm this morning, and we filmed it. The fish farm is connected to a restaurant in town, which is just around the corner from my test kitchen, and we also ate a little bit of stuff over there for lunch. Scaled is a restaurant that again is owned by the same people that own the farm, the offshore fish farm. So they base their menu around what they get, as well as they also have specials which showcase what they, the random stuff that they find as well. So that's really interesting. It's one of the more exciting local restaurants to check out.
So from the fish farm, chef, what did you get?
These, what we call extra large clams. So I think you can see it's almost the size of my palm, and the meat inside is quite large. So this is not like your spaghetti vongole kind of size clam. And then these have quite a strong minerally flavor because of the size, obviously. And then when we got back to their restaurant, which was called Scaled, which is just around the block from my test kitchen, they cooked us a very, very nice little dish with this, some seared samjang, like a Korean kind of dressing, together with some, I think it was some herbs on top. But I'm gonna, and then they paired it with a sago that was cooked with some calamansi lime.
Oh, nice.
So there was the whole oyster and pearl kind of theme going on. So what I thought, and I was quite inspired by that, let me try and make my own version of a oyster and pearl. So we're gonna cook this guy with some squid ink couscous. And the couscous that we're going to use is not the Moroccan style couscous, which is very fine, but the Israeli style couscous, which is
the bigger one.
The bigger one. So that replicates the texture of like a bubble tea pearl, or something a bit more chewy, like a orzo pasta, or fregola. You probably know fregola, So we're going to cook it with squid ink, preserved lemon, garlic, and couscous, and we're going to serve it back in its own shell.
That's awesome.
Some of this here, I've got some rendered chicken fat, and I think it'll go quite nicely on the top. So it's like a chicken fat dressing on the top of this thing. And we're going to serve a very small portion in the shell so that it's just one mouthful. You just take this half shell here, almost like an oyster, and you just shoot it.
Oh, that's awesome. I love the idea. You know what? This is already making me hungry.
Well, wait till you see it.
So, Chef, what's your plan post-COVID? What's going to change for you? What's the new menu going to look like?
So, my main restaurant, Artichoke, is going smooth right now. Touch wood, thank you, very blessed. It's going smooth. I have just taken over this new space, the one that's that I'm in right now, and this is my new test kitchen. So as you know, previously it was a tiny space, 2 meters by 2 meters. It sat 4 people. This is a much bigger space. It's called Smalls. I'm not going to change the name. It's still going to be called Smalls, even though we expanded it. And the whole idea is that because people like to dine in smaller groups these days, we're going to cater to smaller groups. Artichoke has always been a large group sort of restaurant. Smalls will be a small group kind of restaurant with 4 groups of 4 coming through every night, and where we will be cooking whatever we feel like that day, that week, that month. So the menu is always changing in that sense. Depends what we find, it depends what our suppliers give to us, it depends what we're interested in at that point in time. It's going to be very flexible. It's not tied to any cuisine whatsoever.
So that's my retirement plan. I always tell my wife, the eventual goal is to be able to just finish off all this, wrap up, go to a small house by the stream, put 3 tables outside and say, we're going to cook what we want to cook, come if you want to come. So I have a game for you, right? So I'm going to say a word or a term, and you have to just say the first thing that comes to your mind. Just the first thing that comes to your mind and why. Yeah? You ready for it?
Let's bring it on. Let's play this game. I'm ready.
Worst meal.
Offal. Innards. Anything from the inside of the animal. I cannot handle. Offal.
Yeah, I love offals, chef. I love what's inside more than just, I love them. The next one is crying in the kitchen.
Whew. I don't remember ever doing that, to be honest. Not trying to be macho or brave or anything here, but not even with onions. I don't know, I think my eyes are like immune to onions. I think I must have gone through too many onions when I was in my first job washing dishes and cutting onions, that my eyes are immune to it. I can hold a half an onion in front of my eye, a raw onion that was just cut, and I will not feel anything.
But again, we are completely opposite. The sight of an onion brings tears into my eyes. It's like, I don't know, it's psychological or something, or maybe I have weak eyes, but we use a lot of onions in Indian food, right? I look at an onion and I start crying. It's that bad for me. So the last one. The weirdest ingredient. So the weirdest ingredient that you've cooked with.
Whew. Octopus egg.
Oh, I've never cooked with that. Damn, I'm jealous now.
Octopus egg. So some of my seafood comes in from Indonesia. I've got a guy who runs a small fishing company there that catches a lot of wild things, and sometimes he gets octopus, and sometimes the octopus that he brings in have eggs. So he'll either sell me the eggs whole and fresh, or he will dry them into something like botaga. And then we take that octopus egg botaga and we shave it over a pizza, or we shave it over a risotto or pasta. That's really nice.
Honestly, at the end of it, what I'm feeling two things. I'm feeling very hungry. Yeah. And two, I'm feeling like I should wrap up the business in India, move to Singapore, and all I should do is just work in smalls, be your executive sous chef, and then ask you to give me a 4-hour shift. So all I can do is eat and explore all day. That's what I want to do right now. That's where I am right now.
Man, that sounds like a plan. That sounds like an actual plan. Let's work towards making that happen, man.
No, I definitely look forward to welcoming you to Lucknow whenever you're here next. You are missing out a lot if you don't visit Lucknow, let me tell you that. I'm trying to sell my city, but it deserves to be sold. And I'm looking forward to and I'm looking forward to visiting you in Singapore, eating at smalls, and definitely visiting those small Tamil food places to give you the real spicy element of chettinad that is not found in India but is still found in Singapore. I can't wait.
Wow. Well, until you get here, I'll be going there and checking it out myself, because you've got me thinking about that right now. Wow.
Awesome. It's a pleasure, chef.
Put it right there. Okay, that was enough.